So let me give my presentation. My presentation is about the art of innovation. And before I begin, I have to show you because it's not often that I can use my family dog pictures. So these are my two dogs. And the dog on the left is Jersey, and we think she is a Rot and maybe Bloodhound. The other one is a pug for sure, that's Bane. So these are my two dogs because I can't show my dog pictures at most presentations. So I am a real dog lover, and so I really am quite happy to be here, quite happy to be here. So that's enough of my personal pictures. I use a top 10 format for my speeches. This is because I have seen many, many tech speakers, not CIA speakers, not speakers with British accents, but most speakers. And most tech speakers in Silicon Valley in particular, there are two characteristics about them. First, they almost all suck. And second, they go long. That's a deadly combination. You know, if you suck and your speech is short, it's okay. If you're great and your speech is long, it's okay. But if you suck and go long, it's like being stupid and arrogant. You know, it's just a bad combination. So what I do is I use a top 10 format. That way, in case you think I suck, you know approximately how much longer I'll suck because I have 10 key points. All right, so 10 key points of innovation. The first thing I learned about innovation is that the great motivator for innovation is to make meaning. That is, to improve people's lives. It is not about making money. If you make meaning, you will probably also make money. But if you focus on making money, you will probably fail, and you'll probably fail to make meaning or money. So make meaning. I'll give you some examples of making meaning. I work for a company called Apple. The meaning that Apple made was democratizing computing. Back then, it was not so easy to get a personal computer. You had to work for a large organization. You had to work for an academic institution, a company, a government, something like that. There's no such thing as personal computing. And Steve and Waj changed all that. They democratized computing. That's the meaning that they made. Google democratized information. You didn't have to be powerful again. You could have information at your fingertips. Everybody could access, well, I learned 96% of the information in the world. Google democratized information. And eBay democratized commerce. 3 examples of companies that have made meaning. And the first lesson I learned about innovation is great innovation occurs when you want to make meaning. That is, you want to change the world and make the world a better place. I can honestly tell you, working in the Macintosh division, we were trying to make meaning. We were trying to prevent a world of Orwellian totalitarianism from IBM. We wanted people to be more creative and more productive. It was about making meaning. Step 1, make meaning. Step 2 is to make a mantra. This is the mission of Wendy's. Wendy's, fast food organization, has this mission statement. I'll read it to you. The mission of Wendy's is to deliver superior quality products and services for our customers and communities through leadership, innovation, and partnerships. So I am a father of 4 children. When the children outnumber the adults, when you have gone from man to zone, you have a much greater appreciation of fast food. So I have nothing against Wendy's. I've eaten at Wendy's. I've driven through Wendy's. I love Wendy's. But in all the times that I have been at Wendy's, it has never occurred to me that what I am participating in is leadership, innovation, and partnerships. Pardon me, I thought I was just getting a Coke, a French fry, and cheeseburger, okay? And this is the fundamental problem with mission statements, and I think mission statements are kind of the enemy of innovation because they're too long, they're forgettable. I don't think if you asked any Wendy's employee what the mission statement of the organization is, they could repeat that. None of them. Not even the founder. I know that's true because the founder is dead. But imagine that if you took the word Wendy's out of this mission statement, who among us would identify this? Oh yeah, that must be Wendy's. There's no way. So what I think you should do to describe your innovation is to create a mantra instead. So some companies and some mantras. Wendy's mantra should be healthy fast food. That's what that company is trying to do. Nike has a great slogan, fantastic slogan, just do it. But what Nike stands for, why does it exist? Its mantra is authentic athletic performance. And finally, FedEx. For me, FedEx means peace of mind. When you absolutely, positively want something, someplace, it's FedEx. So I'm suggesting to you that if you want to be innovative, that you come up with a 2 or 3 word explanation of why your product, your service, your company, your division should exist. Healthy, fast food. Authentic, athletic performance. Peace of mind. My personal mantra for my life is empower people. 2 words. That's what I want to do, empower people. Number 3 is about perspective. Great innovation occurs because you jump to the next curve. It's not because you duke it out better on the same curve. Great example, ICE 1.0. ICE 1.0 meant that in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was an ice harvesting business. This meant that Bubba and Junior would go to a frozen lake or frozen pond, cut blocks of ice. This ice then made life more convenient for people. That's ICE 1.0. 30 years go by, we have ICE 2.0. Now we have the ice factory. You freeze water centrally. Major technological breakthrough, because now it doesn't have to be winter. It doesn't have to be a cold place. You could have an ice factory in Honolulu any time of the year. This is a major technological breakthrough. ICE 3.0 is now the refrigerator curve. Now everybody had their personal ice factory. They had a refrigerator. They had a PC, if you will, a personal chiller. The very interesting story is that none of the ice harvesters became ice factories and none of the ice factories became refrigerator companies because most companies don't jump to the next curve. They define themselves in terms of what they already do. We cut blocks of ice from a frozen river. We freeze water centrally and have the iceman deliver ice in an ice truck. We build a mechanical contraption called a refrigerator. Companies need to step back and ask themselves, what benefits does their product or service provide? In the ice business, it's cleanliness and convenience. So theoretically, if you understood that you are in the cleanliness and convenience business, if you are an ice harvester and you see an ice factory, you would jump to the next curve because now you could have an ice factory any city, any time of year. If you're an ice factory owner and you see the first refrigerator, you should jump to the refrigerator curve because now you understand you are not limited by driving ice in a truck. You could sell refrigerators everywhere. Great innovation occurs because you jump to the next curve. If you have the best letter quality printer, you should jump to the laser printer. If you have the best laser printer, you should jump to the 3D printer. If you have the best telegraph, you should get to the telephone. If you get to the telephone, you should get to VoIP. You should always get to the next curve. Next thing to do is roll the DICE. DICE is a 5-word acronym to describe what curve jumping means. The first characteristic of curve jumping innovation is depth. Great products and great services are deep. This is an example of a deep sandal. This is a sandal made by Reef. It's called a fanning. That metal clip at the midsole area, its purpose is to open beer bottles. So whereas every other sandal in the world has one purpose, protect your feet, this has 2 purposes, protect your feet and open beer. This is twice the depth of any other sandal in the world. Great products are also intelligent. When you look at them, you say, this company understood my pain. This company understood my problem. This company understood my challenge. Here is an example. This is a GT500 Shelby Mustang. This Mustang has 650 horsepower. If you're not into cars, I'll translate that to you. That's equivalent to 6.8 Priuses. So I am 60 years old. I'm going through this midlife crisis. Feelings of inadequacy, impotency, failings of various parts of my body. And I would love to compensate psychologically by buying a badass, to use the word, Mustang, right? What a fantastic way to compensate. Badass Mustang, 650 horsepower. But I have 4 children, as I told you. 2 of those children are driver's age. 19 and 21, both boys. And the thought of either of those boys driving a Mustang with 650 horsepower is criminal. It is just immoral. It would just be wrong for me to unleash those boys upon society in such a powerful car. And yet I figured out that Ford makes a very intelligent product. It's called the My Key. And what the My Key enables you to do is program the top speed of a car into the key. So, let's suppose that Dad is going to St. Louis for Purina, and we drop him at the airport, and we can use his Mustang for a day. Yes, but you will be getting a key that is programmed to go no faster than 55 miles an hour. That is an intelligent product. And I have to say that, so we have 4 children. 2 are, biologically, well, they're all biological, but Two are my wife and two are adopted. And so I'm very well versed in sort of baby feeding. And I have to tell you that when I learned about this product from your company, I am sold, man. This is the Keurig formula. I just love this idea. Maybe we'll have more children just to try this. So the concept of single-serving baby formula, Keurig, I love this idea. This is an intelligent product, Baby Nest from Nestle. Next thing is great products, great services. Curve-jumping things are complete. You heard about Amazon as the one word that describes 25 years of the internet. This is a screenshot from Amazon. This is all the stuff that Amazon provides. Amazon sells everything. I love Amazon. This is like such a together organization. When all the dust settles, it's going to be Google, Amazon, and Apple. As a self-published author, I could tell you Amazon is fantastic. That you upload a book and 8 hours later your book is for sale. That's 364 days and 18 hours faster than traditional publishing. Not a $10 book, a self-published Kindle ebook, you make $7 as an author. You'd make $1.50 as a traditional author. If you want your book to be books on tape, Amazon owns Audible. You go to Audible, you describe your book, you hold auditions, you listen to auditions, you pick a reader, and it's done. Amazon is total complete package. Great products are complete. Great products are also empowering. This is a MacBook Air. Macintoshes make people more creative and productive. Windows fights you. There's a difference, right? Windows, you have to wrestle to the ground. You have to defeat Windows. It's either you or Windows. Macintosh makes you more creative and productive. This is a beautiful piece of aluminum block, hand carved by Tibetan monks, right? This is just sheer beauty. How many of you have a Macintosh in this audience? Oh, thank you, God. I look at this design, and I don't work for Apple anymore. It doesn't really matter to me. And I look at this design, and I look at other people, and I say, wow, so you got up one morning, and you decided that instead of buying a beautiful MacBook Air made out of one piece of aluminum carved by Tibetan monks, you bought that big, thick, plastic, ugly laptop. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Great products are empowering. Finally, great products are elegant. Somebody cared about the design. So as you try to jump curves, ask yourself, are you creating something that's deep, intelligent, complete, empowering, and elegant? Are you rolling the dice? Next step is stolen from a song by Bobby McFerrin. He said, or he sang, don't worry, be happy. I say, don't worry, be crappy. Which means that at the start of a revolution, Macintosh included, the first permutation is often crappy. The first ice factory was probably crappy. The first refrigerator was crappy. The first laser printer only printed one side, slowly, only one size piece of paper, no envelopes. It was a piece of crap, but it was a revolutionary piece of crap. The first laser printer was better than the best daisy wheel printer. The first Macintosh was better than the best Apple II and MS-DOS machine. And if we had waited for the perfect world of chips and displays and hard disk and all this stuff to ship a Macintosh, we would have never shipped. And I learned a very valuable lesson. Don't worry, be crappy. The way it works in Silicon Valley is we ship and then we test. Okay? Ship. Now, if you don't apply this to biotech, but ship, then test. Don't worry, be crappy. Now, I am not saying ship crap, okay? I'm saying ship something that has jumped curves with elements of crappiness to it. Big difference. Number 6, I stole from Chairman Mao, although I failed to see how he ever implemented this. Let 100 flowers blossom, which means that at the start of a great revolution, at great innovation, you may notice a very interesting thing. You take all this marketing and positioning and branding, and you think you know exactly who's going to buy your product, exactly how they're going to use it, and then you ship. And a miracle occurs, which is lots of people buy your product or service, but they're not your intended audience. And they use it in unintended ways. And my God, some companies just freak out when this happens. The wrong people are buying our products in large quantities. First of all, if that ever happens to you, take the money. Just take the money. the problem here is that, ultimately, the consumer positions your product. The consumer establishes what you are. Take your best shot, but ultimately, the consumer does. With Macintosh, for example, we're trying to position it as a knowledge worker machine, spreadsheet, database, word processing. And if you remember, back in the 80s, we were 0 for 3 there, right? People weren't buying Macintoshes for spreadsheet, database, or word processing. Thank God there was a product called Aldous PageMaker. Aldous PageMaker created this field of flowers called desktop publishing. And if it wasn't for desktop publishing, there would be no Apple. Aldous PageMaker saved Apple. Imagine a world without Apple, right? So we'd all have phones with real keypads. We'd have phones where the battery lasted for more than 7 hours. We'd have phones where the GPS actually worked. We'd have phones you could put in the front pocket of your jeans and it wouldn't bend. It would be a different world, right? PageMaker saved Apple. I believe that PageMaker was a gift from God to Apple. It saved Apple. And I believe in God. And one of the reasons why I believe in God is there is no other explanation for Apple's continued survival than the existence of God. Okay? Imagine another scenario. Let's say you're the CMO of Avon. Okay? CMO of Avon. And you have this new product called Skin So Soft. Duh, what's Skin So Soft supposed to do? Make your skin soft. It's about beauty and moisture and lusciousness and all that good stuff, right? And then you find out, uh-oh, moms are buying Skin So Soft as an insect repellent. We never considered the positioning. Buy Skin So Soft, better than DDT, right? That wasn't the positioning we had in our mind. So what do? I say, let 100 flowers blossom. Take the money. Extend your brand. Skin So Soft, the kid-friendly insect repellent. Hallelujah. Declare victory. Let 100 flowers blossom. Number 7 is to polarize people. Great innovation polarizes people. This is TiVo. I love TiVo. I have 4 TiVos in my house. I love to watch TV. And I'm the only person from California who's willing to admit I love, and I'm not talking PBS. I'm talking like, Orange is the New Black. And 24. I like stuff where people die all the time, right? And so, I love my TiVos. But there are people who hate TiVos. Maybe you hate TiVo, right? Because you spend so much money on advertising. And people like me, we watch advertising one Sunday a year. It's coming up in about 5 days, right? And that's the day, when it's the cheaters against the thugs. Basically, you watch the ads, you don't watch the game. So this drives people crazy. They spend so much money making ads, and people like me I literally never watch a commercial. Great products, great services polarize people. I'm not saying you should intentionally piss people off, okay? But I am telling you that great products and great services polarize people. Some people love Macintosh, some people hate Macintosh. People love Android, I love Android, some people hate Android. Harley Davidson. People love Harley Davidson, hate Harley Davidson. It's okay. Some people love Facebook, some people hate Facebook. It's okay. The worst case is people don't care. You're not even on the radar. Don't be afraid of polarizing people. Number 8 is to churn, baby, churn. This is stolen from the Black Panthers, who said, burn, baby, burn. But what revolutionaries do in business is they churn, baby, churn. They take version 1 of a Macintosh, and they make it 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 2.0, 3.0. It's the hardest thing in the world. Because to be a revolutionary, to be an innovator, you need to be able to ignore what people tell you. Because they're going to tell you it can't be done, it shouldn't be done, it isn't necessary. But then once you ship, you have to flip that bit and start listening to people as they tell you how to evolve your revolution. Hardest thing to do. Churn, baby, churn. Number 9 is to niche thyself. This is all the marketing you need to know. Okay. 2 axes on this curve. Uniqueness and value. Uniqueness on vertical, value on horizontal. This is a 2x2 matrix. And if you've ever hired McKinsey, you know you have to be in the upper right-hand corner, right? McKinsey will charge you $500,000 just to tell you that. Okay, so let's go through all 4 corners. In the bottom right corner, we have a corner where you have something of value, but it is not unique. There you have to compete on price. If you slap the same operating system on the same hardware, guess what? You're not differentiated. It could be useful. It could be valuable. You could be Michael Dell, but you have to compete on price. In the opposite left corner, upper left corner, you have something that's truly unique. Only you do it, but it is of no value. In that corner, you are just plain stupid. Okay? The bottom left corner is my favorite corner. This is the .com corner. And I always use the pet food business to explain this corner. Because the greatest example of this corner, where you're not unique and not valuable, is pets.com, right? So of all companies, you would appreciate this. So my analysis of pets.com, and I'm not in your industry, but from the outside looking in, this is my analysis. So let me give you the Silicon Valley pitch for pets.com. 300 million Americans, 85 million owned dogs in America. 85 million dogs eat 2 cans of dog food per day. 170 million cans of dog food per day, total addressable market. 170. 365 days a year. This is not B2B where they only work 5 days a week. This is B2C, or more accurately B2D, right? So every day, dogs eat 170 million cans of dog food per day. How hard could it be to get 1% of 170 million? A mere 1% with my rockstar programmers. That's 1.7 million cans of dog food per day, every day. What a great market. That's why we have pets.com. People like me said, wow, that is a huge market. We need pets.com, epets.com, ipets.com, lastminutepets.com. That's why it's not unique. The reason why it's not valuable is because, in my estimation, you eliminate the pet food store, okay, you can discount it, but then you have to add back shipping and handling, so somebody is at home when the dead cow is delivered to your house, right? So now it's not as convenient, and it's just as expensive. Duh, pets.com. Not unique, not valuable. So the marketing corner you want to be in is the upper right-hand corner. Some examples. Fandango. Where I live, the theater we go to when you take 4 kids, which is a major expedition, they only sell tickets using Fandango. So if I want to know before I go, if I want to print the ticket before I go to the theater, I have to use Fandango. It's valuable and unique. This is a Breitling emergency watch. If you pull the big knob at the 5 o'clock position, an antenna comes out, starts broadcasting emergency signal that airplanes catch. So you do this when you're about to die. You do this, next thing you know, Kevin Costner's jumping out of a helicopter to save you, okay? So this is not something you do when you took the wrong exit off the freeway. This is when you're about to die. This watch can save your life. How many watches can save your life? Breitling emergency. This is a smart car. All of us have cars that we can park parallel to the curb. What happens if there's not a lot of parking? How many of us have cars that can park perpendicular to the curb? Not too many. And then I searched for over your site and over your products, and I discovered this, which I have to tell you, I'm going to try this. This is where you go in and you put up your dog's picture, and then you put up your dog's characters, and you get this custom subscription to custom dog food. I love this. I love this. I'm definitely going to try this. I can tell you right now, Jersey, the bigger dog, the Rot Bloodhound, she's on a metabolic diet, and I know we're paying $3 per can, and I'm going to figure out how we can get away from that because I learned about this. This is a unique and valuable service. I love this service from Purina. Okay, number 10 is to perfect your pitch, because as an innovator, as a curve jumper, you have to pitch. Number 1 is customize your introduction any way you can. Show your audience that this is not a canned presentation. Specialize. Do your research. Show your dog pictures if you have to. This is a picture of an LG washer and dryer. I was speaking in Brazil to the management of LG. After I got to Brazil, I put 2 and 2 together, and I figured, guy, if you were really smart, you would have taken a picture of your LG washer and dryer so that you could, in fact, open up your speech in Brazil with a picture of the LG washer and dryer for LG, the company. How clever would have that been? But I was not prepared. However, I have these 2 older boys, so I thought I'd invoke a little reciprocation. I'd give them the opportunity to pay back their father, right? So send them a text message that says, sons, because you have to have a backup plan with 2 teenage boys, just pause Call of Duty that I bought you on the Xbox that I bought you, go downstairs in the house that I bought you with the iPhones that I bought you, take a picture of the LG washer and dryer that I bought you because I need it right away for a speech in Brazil. Okay, so if any of you are old enough to have teenage boys, after half an hour, you know what happened. Nothing. Right. So now to set the stage for the next click, older boy is Nick, younger boy is Noah. Okay, Nick, Noah. So I send a message to my older boy, Nick, to follow up. Nick, did you get my text messages? Nick responds, well, Noah said he's going to take the pictures, and since you're talking to LG, can you get us some free TVs? Yeah. Welcome to my life. Right. Needless to say, Noah came through, and I opened up the speech in Brazil to LG with that picture of an LG washer and dryer, which really helps with the audience. This is a key point in making presentations. Customize the intro. More pictures. So when I was in Russia, I opened up a speech with this picture, and I said, wow, you Russians, I had no idea. You really have big balls in Russia. And this is before Ukraine, okay? And then this is my favorite picture. This is a picture of me in the Grand Bazaar of Istanbul. And if you can ever get to Istanbul, do it, man. It is the most interesting city in the world. So the guy behind me is the shopkeeper, and look at how happy that guy is. You know what he's thinking? He's thinking, this dumbass American is going to buy this fez. Yeah. I just love this word, dumbass. I mean, you opened up a whole world for me by using that word. So this dumbass American is going to buy this fez. This stinking fez has been in my family shop for 3 generations. Finally, I can get rid of this fez. Needless to say, I opened up this speech in Istanbul to Turkcell with this picture. So if you open up a speech in Turkey wearing a fez in the Grand Bazaar, it's a very good start. Customize your introduction. Next thing is to follow what I call the 10-20-30 rule of PowerPoint. The 10-20-30 rule of PowerPoint is this. You should have absolutely 10 slides, maximum. You'd be lucky to get 10 points across, 10 slides. Now, you're a very intelligent audience. You're looking at me with daggers of, hypocrisy. So like, Guy, you're telling us to use 10 slides, and you're probably on number 40 right now, right? So what's up with that, right? Let me explain. You are not me, okay? 10 slides. You should be able to give these 10 slides in 20 minutes. Why 20 minutes, Guy? It was a 60-minute meeting. It's because, unfortunately, to this day, 95% of this world still uses Windows. And you know as well as I do that most Windows users need 40 minutes to make it work with the projector. If the world were all Macintosh, this would be the 10-60-30 rule. Okay? It's the 10-20-30 rule. The 30 is the optimal font size. The optimal font size is 30 points. 30 points. Anything less is too small. 30 points. Good rule of thumb is figure out who the oldest person is in the audience, divide his or her age by 2. 60-year-old person, divide by 2, 30. 50-year-old, 25 points. Someday you may be pitching to a 16-year-old VC. God bless you that day, use the 8-point font. But until that day, 10 slides, 20 minutes, 30 points. My 11th point, bonus for you, because I have 46 seconds. Don't let the bozos grind you down. The bozos are going to try to grind you down when you innovate. Okay, they're going to tell you it can't be done, it shouldn't be done, it isn't necessary. No one's going to buy a single serving, Keurig of baby formula kind of thing. No one's going to customize their dog food and get a subscription. No one's going to do all that. Can't be done, shouldn't be done, isn't necessary. 2 kinds of bozos in the world. One bozo, slovenly, disgusting body odor, pocket protector, Japanese watch, rusty car. That person is a loser. You look at that person and say, you're a loser, right? That bozo is not dangerous because you look at that person and you say, loser, and only a loser would listen to a loser. That's why that person isn't dangerous, because you're not losers. If you were a loser, you might listen to a loser, but you're not a loser, so that bozo's not dangerous. The dangerous bozo is a winner. Okay? The dangerous bozo dresses in all black. Dangerous bozo owns lots of stuff that ends in I, like Armani, Maserati, Lamborghini, Ferrari. Audi is the exception to that. Audi is okay. So, and this person is rich and famous, well-known, and you think rich and famous parses to smart. But my observation is rich and famous usually parses to lucky, not smart. So you need to be careful of the dangerous bozo. I believe that bozosity is like the flu. Okay? So how does bozosity work? How does flu work? How do you prevent the flu? You get a little bit of flu, so you are already prepared when you encounter big flu. You get a shot. I'm going to give you some shots of bozosity so that when you encounter bozosity in your career, you've already built up the resistance. First shot of bozosity. Thomas Watson, chairman of IBM, said he thought there was a market for 5 computers in the world. I have 5 Macintoshes in my house. I have all the computers he anticipated in the world in my house. This telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication. The device is inherently of no value to us. Western Union, internal memo, 1876. Maybe Western Union thought, well, why don't we just teach Americans the Morse code? How hard could that be? Then we could put a telegraph in every house, right? Or someday we'll have telegraphs in cars, Who knew? Who knew, right? I mean, Western Union should be Bitcoin, or they should at least be PayPal today. But it's very hard to go from telegraph to Bitcoin or telegraph to virtual currencies or telegraph to PayPal if you write off telephone in the middle. It's just too big a chasm to cross. There's no reason why anyone would want a computer in their home. Ken Olsen, great entrepreneur, great innovator. He didn't think there was a reason why people would want a computer in their home. Imagine if Steve Jobs or Steve Wozniak met Ken Olsen at a computer show in 1977 and told them about their plans for Apple I, and Ken Olsen says, son, there is no reason why anyone would want a computer in their house. They can drive back to the office and use a DEC mini computer. And imagine if Steve and Woz had listened to that. There would be no Apple today. This is dangerous pososity. I see the clock counting up, so can I tell one more story? Okay, so one more story. About 15 years ago, Mike Moritz of Sequoia Capital calls me up. And Sequoia is probably the best venture capital firm, and Mike Moritz may be the best venture capitalist of the best venture capital firm. He calls me up and he asks me if I want to interview for a job of a company that he just funded. He tells me the company, and I said, you know, I looked at the website, and Michael, that company is like an hour from my house. I have to drive 2 hours a day, and I looked at the company, and I don't see how it's defensible technology. I don't see the business model. I don't see the proven management team. So I declined to interview for the job of CEO of this company. So now I'll tell you who the company's name. The company was Yahoo. Right, so I declined an invitation to interview for the CEO of Yahoo. Now this is way back when. This is not now Yahoo. This is Yahoo, right before it got hot. And so I've been thinking about this. So let's say that I had taken the interview. I would have gotten the job. Because when a venture capitalist asks you to interview, that venture capitalist already made up his mind. This is not, an exhaustive search. So I would have gotten the job. So if I got the job, how much would I have gotten of Yahoo? I would have gotten 10% of Yahoo because I would have been the first adult. Okay? So the way it works is you get 10%, but you get 10% over 4 years. So let's say 2 years into a 4-year vesting plan, I peter principle out. I reach the height of my incompetence. They say, guy, we need someone who can take Yahoo to the next level, stand toe-to-toe with Barry Diller, Steve Case, and Steve Ballmer, and Rupert Murdoch, and all the big hitters. So you're not that person, so we're firing you as of today. And I would have told him, well, listen, just time out for a second. You cannot fire me because I am Asian American. I am an oppressed minority in the eyes of the law. So you can't just fire me today, right? And they would have said, well, guy, we don't want to go forward with you. And I said, okay, so you fire me. Tomorrow there'll be a wrongful termination lawsuit on your desk. Turn your TV on to CNN at noon because live from in front of Yahoo's corporate headquarters, there'll be 60 crippled old Japanese ladies protesting. And then when we go to court, this is the case I'm going to build. I'm going to say, well, in World War II, America was fighting Japan, Italy, and Germany. And did they take the German Americans and stick them in internment camps? No. Did they take the Italian Americans out of New York, stick them in internment camps? No. Took the Japanese. He took all of us, stuck us in camps. And then at the end of the war, what did you do? You dropped not 1, but 2 atomic weapons on Japan. Now you're firing me. We're seeing a trend here, right? So they would have said, all right, time out, guy, remain calm. What would it take for you to go away? And I said, well, just accelerate the vesting. Give me all the stock. And they would have. And so by my calculation, this decision of mine, this bozosity of mine, cost me $2 billion. Now, $2 billion, that's a lot of dog food. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of cans of dog food. So I've been thinking about this. And, to be there as my children were growing up, for the love of my wife and children, I did the right thing. I picked my family over working 80 hours a week, building Yahoo, and making $2 billion. Okay, so this is where you should clap. Yeah. Herein lies the problem. The problem is that heartfelt explanation explains $1 billion. And I tell you from the bottom of my heart, it's the second billion that pisses me off. Because the second billion is the one that shows that I too was a bozo. Because I was successful in the personal computer curve, I could not fully understand and embrace the internet curve. Don't let the bozos grind you down. And my truly last slide, okay? Truly last slide. My day job, I'm the chief evangelist of a company called Canva. And Canva enables you to create great online graphics for your social media posts, for your blog, business cards, flyers, everything. Please check out Canva. But that is the art of innovation. Remember, it starts with making meaning, changing the world. 2 or 3 words to describe it. Don't worry, be crappy. Doesn't have to be perfect. Get to the next curve. Don't do things 10% better. Do things 10 times better. Get in that upper right-hand corner where what you've created is unique and valuable. The only place where you can customize a dog food mix and get it sent to your house. The only place where you can easily make single serving of baby formula. Unique and valuable. And I hope my information here today has enabled you to change the world. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guy, for another badass performance. And thank you, Jill, for getting my summit to be a new level, like PG or R. So now we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back at 11 o'clock and continue the speakers. And for those of you who have the Innovation Tech Lab, you can go to the left and go down the hall, and it's at the end of the hall. Thank you.